Ladies and gentlemen, this is the House of Grim podcast. I'm your host, Grim Grimes. My co-host is...
Dan Bob.
And our guest today is William Bryce. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So, you do a lot of work with a lot of different promotions, I've seen.
Yeah. This year especially has been very true.
How many in total are you currently working with?
Counting ones that I've worked for already in 2025 and ones that I'm scheduled to work for in 2025, I know I'm at least 12.
12, wow. And some of them you're commentating, some of them you are wrestling, and some you're doing ring announcing?
Exactly, yep.
Man, that's... I don't know how you do it, man. That's a rough schedule there, man. Do you prefer wrestling over commentating and ring announcing, or...
You know, I'll give you the heavy answer on that. So I love wrestling, but the truth is, I didn't start wrestling until I was 32. I'm 36 now. I'm 5'8". I'm 185 pounds. I got a little bit of a dad bod, despite not having kids. I don't think WWE or even AEW is looking for a guy like me. I love wrestling. I want to continue to do it in the region. But the commentary, ring announcing, and such, that's where I think I could still get to a national level. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like I have my dreams and I have my goals. And that's kind of how I split them up.
Gotcha.
Pretty understandable.
Never say never, though. I mean, look at James Ellsworth. You know,
you
wouldn't have thought he would have been a WWE, superstar. You know what I'm saying? The chinless wonder.
The one that I always love is DDP because I know some people don't realize he didn't start until he was in his 30s and then he got into WCW.
Yeah, and became a champion at in his 40s? I want to say he's like 41 as champion.
Something like that. That dude doesn't age though, man. It's nuts.
No. Well, and I'm sure doing the yoga. It's like he's definitely in better shape than me. There's no question about it.
He's definitely in better shape than me. I know that for a fact. So, go ahead, Dan Bab.
No, go ahead. I'm just chilling, man, letting you guys do your thing.
No, you ask a question, man. Get involved.
Well, I just had a brain fart, Grim. Go ahead, man.
All right. Now, when you're doing like ring announcing, how do you like remember everybody's like names and stats and this and that?
I will admit I do use note cards, but there are a lot of people that I know. I've announced them so many times that I can do the whole thing off of memory. Honestly, the hardest thing to remember for me is 100% where people are from and weights, especially because weights, I've had some people I ring announce for that literally that'll change 6 months down the line because they're packing on muscle or something like that.
Now, with commentating, do you tend to go more babyface or you go more heel?
So that was something I was surprised by. I generally go more babyface, but I've worked for promoters. I guess I'm pulling back the curtain already. I've worked for promoters who said, we really don't care about face and heel. We want you guys to be yourselves, essentially. I've only had one promoter say, hey, I want you to be a heel. I want you to be a Jesse Ventura. But everyone else was like, hey, whatever way you naturally lean, just do that. If it's face, perfect. If it's face, heel, that works too.
Yeah, I just feel like for me it would be hard to do like the baby face, all the time. There's stuff that heels do that I just love, and I'd rather get that over on commentary.
Well, and that's the thing is like it's awesome, watching people within wrestling because some people are just natural baby faces, some people are just natural heels.
Yeah.
One of my good buddies, Dave Weston, he's, in my opinion, born to be a bad guy. He just is. But me, I tend to just lean towards being the good guy for some reason.
Gotcha. With all the traveling that you do for these like 12 promotions that you're working for, you got any good road stories, man?
That's the thing. I don't have any crazy ones. it just seems like every time that I drive to Wisconsin, we just see a bunch of car accidents.
Oh, wow.
We did have a road rage incident where Chicago is like Detroit, but worse, where the speed limit's 55, but everybody's doing 85.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I ever get pulled over, I'm just gonna say, officer, I was trying to go with the flow of traffic. But there was this one guy who just decided I wasn't passing the guy that I was passing. I was already passing somebody, and I wasn't passing him fast enough, so he cut me off as I was starting to get in the other lane from behind, and legitimately like tried to run me off the road. So, good times.
Yeah, a lot of lunatics out there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know that's not wrestling specific, but
right.
that was the highlight this year. Let me put it that way.
Is there out of all these 12 promotions you wrestle for and commentate for and stuff like that, is there any one of them that stands out more to you, more like say a promotion that you go to and work for more, or that you like going to more than another one?
Oh man, so I'm tempted to hit you with no, they're like my children. I love them all the same. But in all seriousness, they all offer something different to me and to the fans, but selfishly to me. I started out at Pure Pro Wrestling. I did additional training at New Edge Pro, so those places, are special to me for different reasons. Capital Pro Wrestling is just 15 minutes down the road from where I live, so I kind of consider that a home promotion. And then there's another one, All Class Independent Wrestling. They're also based out of Waterford, and they're one that I've been around since the beginning. And the guy who runs it, G Money, he is somebody who is just so fiercely loyal to the people that are good to him, and he's good to them in return as well. So that's another one of my home promotions. I would feel remiss if I didn't at least mention Chaos, based out of Port Huron, because the guy who runs that, he doesn't want to be seen as authority figure, so I'm not even going to say his name, but the guy who runs that is one of the nicest people that I know. He's one of those guys that'll message you just to check up on you. He's one of those guys that'll message you just to say, hey, you doing all right, man?
That's cool.
And
that's awesome.
And that kind of stuff you don't see a lot in promoters. So when you see that kind of stuff,
not.
It's special.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, there's not a lot of loyalty, especially in wrestling, man. So when you come across people like that, it's good to keep them around you and keep them in your circle.
Yeah. And he also draws a good crowd, I'm not gonna lie. Port Huron it's a good place. It's a good place.
Yeah, we've been coming out to the Chaos show. We went to what is it, Graham? 2 now? We went to 2 of their shows now.
We went to January out at Lakeport, and then they were supposed to do one day after Valentine's Day for the Love of the Ring, but it got postponed until March 9th because of snow. So.
Yeah. So the one you guys were at, I think I was actually doing commentary that day because Jeremiah was doing ring announcing that day, and I think that was the day that we had the tribute to Greg. And it was just more appropriate to have Jeremiah in that role because he knew him personally. So, but yeah, that's exciting stuff, man. Next time you guys are at a show, I'll definitely have to make sure I shake your hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. Would definitely like to meet you in person. So what's the hardest part about trying to make a name for yourself in the indies?
Oh, this is actually a conversation I was having with some friends recently. It's the competition, especially nowadays with the internet being what it is. It is, if you're not on your game 110%, and I don't just mean in the ring, I mean like the way you look, the way that you advertise yourself, the marketing, make sure you're sharing stuff, make sure you're networking with the right people. If you're not doing all that stuff, chances are there's somebody who is. And even with the ring announcing and commentary, even if, excuse me, even if you're a great ring announcer or commentator, people who are doing ring announcing commentary, their bodies are quite literally going to last longer than somebody who's wrestling. Somebody who's wrestling might wrestle till they're 50, 60, hang the boots up, another spot opens up for a green kid coming through. But with ring announcing commentary, you can do that till you're 80. So there's not as many. Oh, and the other thing I was talking to my friend about is on a given show, you might have 30 wrestlers, you have 2 commentators, you have 1 ring announcer. So a lot of times in that regards, it feels like you're waiting for the right spot to open up, and you're waiting, and it's all about timing as much as it is about skill.
Now, Chaos, they post their stuff on IWTV.
Yep.
Do you feel more pressure when it's going on an app like that?
Honestly, no. I'm sure some people would probably say yes, and I don't mean to sound full of myself or anything like that, because when you're at the show, there's so many. You get kind of lost in the moment, if that makes any sense, and you don't even think about it after a while. You're just like, okay, I'm used to having a camera in my face, and you don't think about where it's getting distributed. It's just a matter of I'm in the moment. I'm surrounded by 300 people, usually at a chaos show. That's about what they draw. 300 people that are making noise.
Right.
Thankfully.
Yeah, the crowd at the show we just went to on the 9th they were very boisterous. I mean,
Oh yeah.
You know, they were chanting for the good guys, booing the heels, even heckling some of them. They told one guy they called him Carlito.
I'm trying to know who that would have been.
Colonel Sanders, it was.
Oh, Don Sanders.
The Chaos Women's Champion, the newly crowned Women's Champion, when she came out of the ring, when she jumped out of the ring, the guy next to us.
Well, no, it was me who said it. Before she went into the ring, or when she first got into the ring, they announced her, being from Ohio. He said, "Ohio sucks." She took offense. When she got out of the ring, I shouted, "Ohio still sucks." And she went off on him, thinking it was him again.
She's like, "You want me to slap your glasses off your face?"
He's like,
"Oh man!"
He froze.
He was legitimately scared of her, bro. He was like, "It wasn't me. It really wasn't me." He was so scared. It was great.
If you're an Ohio wrestler and you're wrestling in Michigan, 9.9 times out of 10 you're a bad guy. Just for being from Ohio.
Gotta be.
Yeah, she looks like she's gonna be somebody, man. Like the way she was interacting in the ring, and now she's the Chaos Women's Champion. Like I was impressed with her, man, out there that day.
Alice Crawley,
for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Big Al.
Yep. I actually have yet to meet her in person because I was at another show that day, but no, everything I've seen about her has been great stuff.
So, how would you describe your wrestling style?
Oh, I always struggle with that question. Because it's a little bit of a hybrid style, and part of that is, I'll admit, due to my age, because I love high-flying cruiserweight stuff. I love that stuff. But once again, I come back to my age and I come back to my body and being realistic. And, there's a difference between Jeff Hardy high-flying and Darby Allin high-flying and Ricochet high-flying. Those are all 3 different high-flying styles. And I almost feel like I'm a little bit more of a Jeff Hardy high-flying because it's like, yeah, I'll jump off stuff. Yeah, I'll do swantons and stuff like that. But I can't do what Ricochet does. I just can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Very few can, man. That dude's ultra talented with that stuff, so.
The dedication to that has to be insane.
Him and Will Ospreay are at another level with that type of stuff, I feel. So.
Oh yeah.
Not myself, I'm not huge on Ricochet's actual style, like especially when he's in there against like Ospreay or something like that. To me, it gets too choreographed a little bit, so it kind of takes me out of it at times.
That is the downside, and that's where you get back to the whole less is more. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times, people will be like, "Hey, that stuff's great, but do it in a way that makes sense, and don't do it throughout the entire match."
Yeah.
So,
Um. So, what's your next show you got planned, or you're gonna be wrestling at?
at the time of right now, tomorrow I'll actually be wrestling in Lansing, and then next weekend, I will actually be at Luna Championship Wrestling over in Lincoln Park, which that one's really cool because Rhino will be at that one and Jason Hotch will be at that one. That one I'll be ring announcing.
Okay. So Capital Pro Wrestling, man, that's the one Sunday, right? That you're gonna be at?
Tomorrow. Today's Saturday, right?
Yeah. We've been talking about going and checking them out. It's just a matter of actually making it happen. Like every other weekend, I play D&D, so like tomorrow's my D&D day, and I can't back out of it. My too many people.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
But
I get that.
One of these weekends, I might just have to, if they're got a show schedule.
Oh, definitely.
Check. We have to
definitely. They run monthly, and right now they're running on Sundays, which is great for me because so many promotions run on Saturdays. Yeah. I'm blanking on what exact day next month is, but no, they'll have them going every month.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out for sure because I've mentioned them a couple times to him. Like I want to get out there and check them out. So
is the Misfits wrestle there too, right?
Yep, Misfits are there. Let's see.
Machine Gun Bishop's been there. I've seen a match.
He'll make occasional appearances.
Him and Ramirez actually tag teamed with each other.
Oh, that must have been last month when we did the Lucha Lothario, where we all got random tag team partners.
I watched the match, and they were, they were working together, but begrudgingly, a little hard tag to the back.
Yep, you can see some animosity building.
Tag to the face. I'm in. I was digging that.
So I recently seen that that you're putting a show together.
Yeah, that one's really recent. I'm doing a benefit show in association with New Edge Pro All Class and a little bit of Capital Pro in there as well for friend, let's say, named Mike, who went through leukemia treatment over the last year and a half. He's in remission now, but he's still dealing with the medical bills from that. And we also want to do it as a leukemia awareness piece because the way we found out that he had leukemia was just so out of the blue that it's one of those things that it's like, man, I really feel like more people should know about this. So I'm really excited about that.
So putting together a benefit show like this, is that something that's kind of hard and difficult to do? Because like for instance, like that's something that I always wanted to do, something like that to help people. So I really commend you for that, man. That really shows that you're a great human being, bro. Like for real. But so is that kind of hard to do, or is it easy at times, or?
I'm fortunate in the sense that I'm able to use the New Edge Pro facility, the place that I did my additional training. So it takes away a lot of the, oh my god, I got to find a place to wrestle. I got to find a building. I got to find a ring because we're using their building. We're using their ring. So luckily, I didn't really have to worry too much about the logistics other than picking a date. Which even that was hard with the summer because we ended up landing on doing the Sunday before Memorial Day, so the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, in fact, May 25th. But the other hard part about that's taken most of my time has been making the matches, booking wrestlers, and making the match graphics. Almost every night, including up until today before I got on this podcast, was me updating match graphics with sponsors, with logos, all that.
Man,
Well, that's really cool that you're doing that, bro. That's really
I
awesome.
I
it's like
appreciate that.
it's like one of those 24/7 nonstop, jobs basically.
Oh,
Promote a show.
100%. 100%. I've made a few jokes about like, man, nobody told me promoting a show would be this hard. And of course, some of my friends that are promoters are like, yep. They're just like, yep, it is.
Well, that's cool. You got a wrestling company that's down to help you with things like this. That also shows that that's a good promotion as well.
Yeah.
So just want to give them their flowers on that aspect
When
too.
is New Edge's next show?
New Edge's next show is May 28th or 29th.
And where are they located out of?
They're out of Waterford.
Oh, Waterford. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so many. There's so many. That's like what I love about interviewing independent wrestlers. Because you get to find out about all these promotions that you didn't necessarily know about. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
then you're like, now they're on the radar. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to end up going out here and check them out.
now we got another place we got to check out.
Yeah.
There was a point that I counted all of the Michigan-based professional wrestling companies, and I literally think it was like 20 or more.
Wow.
It might not be that now because unfortunately ones are dropping off all the time, but there's quite a few that stick around.
I'm sure COVID, ended quite a few too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I would be willing to bet. It was weird because I didn't start till after COVID pandemic was, a known thing. Like when I started is when it was becoming pretty common to not wear a mask.
Yeah.
But I hear stories about like promoters who literally went from running and being busy and having training schools that were packed full of students to like having 2 students.
Man,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like wrestling's like in a pretty nice boom period right now as far as like indies, like in Michigan. Like now I don't know if it's just like me and my brother here were left in the dark and we're just now finding out all this shit, man. But man, like we're loving the indies.
I definitely think there's a wrestling boom period going on. You got WWE
100%.
on Netflix now. You know what I'm saying? They're reaching more households than they ever have. Being on cable. Now you're on Netflix, and then you got AEW. They got a deal going with HBO Max, so they're on there. You know what I'm saying? So wrestling's getting more households.
I feel like part of what it is like, so I watched wrestling when I was a teenager, then I stopped watching it for a few years because it wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, screw it. I don't care if it's not cool. I want to watch wrestling. I'm going to watch wrestling. And I think that that's kind of what's happened the last few years is I think it became more widely accepted as, not being uncool, if that makes any sense. Like,
right.
It's because I feel like even up until 2020, I feel like it was like, oh, you watch wrestling?
Uh-huh.
Nerd.
I got that a lot.
But now it's like, oh, you watch wrestling? You see what John Cena and The Rock did? Like that kind of stuff.
Right. There's a lot of good moments, man, like that take place in wrestling that'll help you like remember moments. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember watching Goldberg do the jackhammer in the Palace of Auburn Hills. I remember like that moment. It's just different things that stand out to you as a wrestling fan that you can take with you forever. You know what I mean? Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So like people, I feel that too. Like people all the time like think wrestling ain't cool at times, but man, wrestling is cool.
Well, I'll say so. When I started doing my secondary training at New Edge, one of the questions they asked was, what made you want to be a wrestler? What moment in wrestling made you want to be a wrestler? And I always think of, and it sounds like you guys will know this, Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker ladder match for the undisputed title on SmackDown. And that was the first time that I felt like wrestling was for everybody because you had Undertaker, this big 6'9", 6'10" guy, champion, muscular, and you had Jeff Hardy, who at the time was very much a cruiserweight. And that was the first time also that I looked at wrestling and said, somebody like me can be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like you said, those moments are just, they stick with you when they're really good.
See, the moment that I fell in love with wrestling, like forever. I mean, I did go away from it when I went to college, and I got married and all that, So I went away from it for a little bit, but I came back, But for me, like part of the reason I came back is I missed it so much, and the moment that made me fall in love with it though was Mankind versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
where he gets thrown off the top. They start out on
Now,
top.
did you watch that live?
Oh yeah, as a kid.
Oh,
yeah.
I only saw it after the fact.
Oh yeah, no,
so I can't imagine being in that moment.
We lucked out. We had a mom that was very into wrestling.
Very indirect.
Like,
dude,
to this day, she still has a china cabinet filled with wrestling action figures. 95% of them are Hulk Hogan.
She's taking me to the Palace of Auburn Hills for numerous Monday Nitros. I've been out there for WWF in your houses. Man, big wrestling fan our mom is, bro.
I took her to Raw at the Joe, and it was the one where Shane McMahon returned. Talk about a wrestling moment.
Yeah,
man. That crowd was the loudest I had ever heard.
I saw Shane McMahon jump off the Hell in a Cell cage at Little Caesars Arena, and everybody next to us was like, "Man, that's Vince McMahon's son." I bet you there's a nice crash pad underneath that announce table. So we walked all the way down, close as we could, man, right up to the rail, to the barricade, and no crash pad, man. Like, it was straight concrete. I was like so surprised that Vince McMahon's son jumped off that cage like that, bro. He's a nut. Shane McMahon is crazy.
So let me ask you this: what's the biggest name you've been in the ring with?
Oh, so I haven't wrestled, had a match with a lot of like huge names or anything like that, just because I do have so much focus on the ring announcing and commentary.
Mm-hmm.
But with doing the ring announcing and commentary with, did you guys go to Pure Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Creek shows at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Battle in the Creek 2 and Battle in the Creek 3 were pretty big shows, like over 2,000 fans in attendance. And there was wrestlers there like Al Snow, Alex Hammerstone, RVD, Brian Cage, Tommy Dreamer, of course, Rhino, Jason Hotz, Jack Price, like a lot of those who admittedly are Michigan. A lot of them are Michigan guys, but those are a lot of the people that I've seen. I did get to drive Sabu to a show at home, so
that's great.
So it's weird because it's one of those. One day you're a fan, and the next day you're hanging out in the locker room with these people. It's kind of mind blowing, to be honest.
I could just imagine. Imagine.
Now,
yeah, we just had.
What about is there anybody on the independent level in Michigan that you've built like a rivalry with?
The biggest one is easily Sean Tyler. Like I know I'm not talking about like a national level or anything like that, but Sean Tyler, he's a trainer and founder of New Edge Pro. And this past December, we had our Purge Rules match, which I'm just now realizing I should have sent you way before the podcast, because that was the single-handed most insane, fulfilling match that I've ever done.
Purge Rules. So what does that entail?
So basically, hardcore match, because his gimmick is the Purge, Sean Tyler. But yeah, hardcore match, and the match was 29 minutes and something seconds. We used barbed wire, table, ladders, chairs, chains, glass. It sounds insane to list it off like that, but a baseball bat, keyboard, kendo stick. It was.
I'd like to see that match.
Yeah. at the Chaos
I'll make
show,
sure to
man,
send that to you guys.
It was
Okay.
fun when they were doing the, all the championship matches were under Chaos rules, so it was
Yep.
like, hardcore rules basically. And I
Hmm.
bought
is
this
great.
sign like 2 shows prior.
Here's part of it.
Yeah, there's part of it. It was just a little dry erase board. It was like $1 or something
Pretty-
from Hobby
Pretty hard
Lobby.
though.
And I kept writing on it, "Use my sign," or I'd write other stuff out there too, supporting one of the wrestlers and all that. But I kept writing, "Use my sign," and finally, at the Chaos show, Chuck Steen and Thomas Bailey They ended up using it during their match. He got busted over Thomas Bailey's head.
Man,
Yeah, that
that's
was a great match.
I wish I was there for that one.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Man.
So that dude's Thomas Bailey's impressive because when we went in January, it was him and Mongo.
That was a good match.
And yeah, I tried to get him to give him his shoe to use, but he didn't want to ruin the Jordans.
Nice. Man.
So yeah, man, we're starting to learn about other promotions and starting to make our way to other shows. And we first started to follow like the Misfits, so we came out to see them at Chaos. So we got introduced to Chaos because of the Misfits. So now we're gonna end up eventually making our way out to Lansing because of you. So
Waterford.
Yep, in Waterford for sure. So yeah, man, we're starting to make our way around the map. So
Yeah, I definitely recommend. So both New Edge and New Edge and All Class are based out of Waterford, and I recommend both of them greatly for different reasons. Ironically enough, New Edge is a much smaller, intimate venue, and All Class puts on a little bit more of a spectacle. But All Class only runs quarterly-ish, whereas New Edge does run monthly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And then, of course, my show. I have to pimp my own show.
You got to, man. You got to.
So where can people find you? I did find your YouTube channel today.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere is at Duality William Bryce or William Bryce Wrestling, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, a couple different Facebook pages, both my personal and my professional one. I do have a TikTok, but I'm not super active on it, so people can follow me there, but you might be waiting around for a minute.
Yeah.
So how I came across you was just engaging with like pure pro wrestlers on Facebook, and then people you may know came up, and I seen your page, and then I started seeing like you're pretty entertaining on there, man, with a lot of the stuff that you post and things. So I was like, man, we got to get this guy on.
I appreciate that.
Now, can you speak to, because you've got on your one Facebook page over 1,000 followers, right?
Oh,
It was 1,000.
I have a few Facebook pages. Are you talking about the podcast one that I'm starting up?
No, I think it was. Which one did you send me? It was William Bryce.
Let me see.
The Duality William Bryce one?
I believe so.
The one I messaged you on, that Facebook page, the one we were messaging on.
Apologies, I have like 4 of them. I think that was my personal one, actually. If that one is just under William Bryce.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yep.
Okay, so, my question was going to be, can you speak to how important it is to use social media in the independent scene to get yourself and like shows over?
Oh, yeah. Incredibly, and one of the things that's funny about that is everybody has such a different kind of philosophy when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
Some like to some people will keep their professional stuff from their personal stuff very, very separate. I am fortunate enough to where I kind of blend the two, and a lot of people would say not to do that. But I'm a big believer that people follow follow the person, not the company. I think that more people are interested in following wrestlers than they are about following the company, unless you get to like a WWE, AEW, MLW kind of size. So, how do you reach out to the people, especially if you're trying to be personable, like I'm trying to be? Social media is the number one way. And for me, a lot of it is trying to be transparent about things like mental health, stuff like relationships, stuff in a healthy way, of course, because there's an unhealthy way to do it. But trying to be like that with people. And that's why sometimes on my page, you'll see stuff about relationships, you'll see stuff about wrestling, you'll see stuff about music, and probably in the next week or two, you're going to see a bunch of stuff about video games.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a video gamer.
Oh yeah.
I'm not as much as I used to be, but the new Assassin's Creed is coming out, and I'm going to be playing that.
Me and my buddies were just for the interview. We were on the Sons of the Forest.
Ah, nice.
Running that and a few other things. Ready or Not. I don't know if you ever played that one. Like a SWAT game, basically.
No, admittedly, I feel like I'm like in this dark little corner when it comes to video games.
Oh, really?
I play like a lot of like single player story stuff. Ironically enough, we do a guys' night every few weeks, and we play some WWE 2K, which I suck at. Ironically enough,
I'm there with you. I'm there with you. I
it's
just
fun.
cannot hit reversals, no matter how hard I try.
Not on the new ones. On the old ones, I could do it all day.
I'm like, I'm going up for this big move. I'm going to be taking it.
Yep.
I'm pretty much an enhancement talent when I'm facing somebody on that.
Well, the problem is that one of my best friends is really good at the game. So if you're playing like any type of versus, like you're there have been times where it's just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try and kick out. Whoops. I'm not even gonna try and kick out. I'm just gonna let you pin me.
Our third member of the House of Grim podcast, Slenderman, man, he is lights out when it comes to any form of fighting game. So WWE 2K, he's whipping my ass. I don't know how he does it, man, but he is phenomenal at all of them.
Yeah, I ain't never really been a video gamer for some reason. I'll go to my buddies' houses, and play here and there if they got a game on. But other than that, just caught up with regular everyday life.
Yep.
But man, thank you for coming on our podcast, bro. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
I mean, if you ever want to come on again, just hit us up. If you got a big show coming up and you just want to promote it, come on. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Hey, definitely. I'll definitely take you up on that offer, especially with this upcoming show called Wrestling. Like, the name of the show is literally Wrestling Cancer, a benefit for Mike and leukemia awareness. So I will 100% take you up on that offer.
Yeah, come back on.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get a couple of the people that are going to be on the show on too,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you need help with promoting that or anything, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're willing to help in any way we can.
Yeah.
I
appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the House of Grim podcast. As always, you'll be entertained. Yeah.